I've got a suggestion on how the Premier of Nova Scotia, whoever he may be, on June 10th, if he wishes to minimize the casualties from swine flu over the next year, I've got some suggestions. In 1918, that particular flu, the Spanish flu I think it was called, followed a certain pattern. It was quite bad in the spring. During the last part of flu season, it died off during the summer, and then it came back in the fall. When flu season began again, it came back with a vengeance. One of the things that happened during that time period was if people were in a situation where they could almost withdraw from society for a month or more, they survived. The people who killed more people in 1918 weren't soldiers. They were mailmen. The guy that delivered the mail killed more people in 1918 than anybody else. So, now how does this relate to the Premier of Nova Scotia, our new Premier, and how he can save lives? Well, it's actually kind of simple. In, I believe it was the 1930s, the province of Alberta printed its own currency unit. Now, that scared a lot of people back at that time, and they didn't like that because they thought they might lose money. So the Alberta social credit experiment failed for a whole lot of reasons. Part of it was because the province of Alberta was full of Albertans, and they just thought a certain way, and they didn't even accept their own currency unit. So it's kind of like, what's the problem with America? It's full of Americans. What's the problem with Russia? It's full of Russians. What's the problem with Canada? It's full of Canadians. You know, what can you do? But anyway, here we go with our new Premier, or maybe it's the same Premier again for another 4 years. It's hard to say. Kind of depends on if they take my advice on cribbage tournaments or not. But whoever it is, if they'd like to minimize the death toll from swine flu, I believe they should first print 1 billion Nova Scotia dollars and go looking for real wealth. So take the printed currency units, let's say print all $100 bills. It costs about 2 cents per bill to print up the newest currency unit that has all the safety features and in it that national currency units have. So let's say 3 cents each. $1 billion in $100 bills at 3 cents each, not going to cost very much. So why would companies simply accept $1 billion Nova Scotia dollars for, let's say, cars? Well, because they want to get rid of the cars. Because we're in the middle of a global Great Recession. And this is a very unusual time period to be in. So our Premier, whether it's a new one or the same guy that was here, he could print $1 billion Nova Scotia dollars and fairly easily come back to Nova Scotia after a trip with $1 billion of cars that perhaps a company that was looking to get into the Canadian market in a big way might be interested in unloading. Or maybe he gets 500 million of them, or maybe 100 million. Who knows? He could even spread this around some. But however he likes to do it, he's printed $1 billion, he's translating into the cars. Now, we have farmers worldwide, and they want to get rid of food. They want to get rid of stuff you can eat. So he offers that, well, we got all these cars, and we want to stockpile food because we'd like to set up the citizens of Nova Scotia in such a way that if they want to withdraw from society for a month or 2 or 3, that it's possible for them to do it. See, up here in Canada, We like our government to do stuff for us. Down in the States, actually, it's Jim Baker who's talking people into doing this themselves, and which is good that Americans are willing to do this themselves. But we're in Canada, and we like for our governments to do stuff like this for us. So that's my suggestion for our new premier or our same premier: print a billion Nova Scotia bucks, translate them into real wealth, such as cars or trucks, and market the cars and trucks to the farmers, get a bunch of food, put the food maybe in a little plastic container of some type, similar to what Jim Baker advertises on his show. He's got some pretty good ones there, and they get extra minerals and stuff, and they're good for 20 years. So that we can keep them, and if Nova Scotians end up with these, they're good for 20 years. So whether the flu gets bad this coming winter or whether it gets bad 10 years from now doesn't matter. We're kind of ready for it.